We now have video of National Guard and of private contractors in uniform in Ferguson. You just heard me right, ladies and gentlemen. You just heard me right big time. Headlines up on Infowars.com. The company officially put out the statement, Asymmetric Solutions. We've been to Baghdad, Kabul, KL, Manila, Peshawar, and Bogota. Never guessed we'd deploy to high-threat team in our own city. To clarify, we are not protecting state law enforcement or those exercising their right to assemble. Escort detail, augment for individual. That's the Attorney General. We are saddened that such service is needed in what is normally a peaceful, harmonious metropolitan area full of good people. So basically you have a Blackwater-type company. Safe tour, job complete. On direct observation, seems media has made protesters out to be more bloodthirsty than they are. Oh, why? Because you were there for a few hours with the Attorney General? How about our people there for 2 weeks? And this is how it creeps in. Oh, there'll never be Blackwater on the streets. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Oh, you didn't see somebody in a Blackwater shirt doing a marijuana raid in L.A.? Yes, we did. We have video of it. And now joining us is former Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs. The other big news out of Ferguson is the policeman who aimed a gun at him and others and said, "I will kill you," 3 times on tape, has been suspended. Reuters went with a headline, "Policeman suspended for pointing a rifle at a peaceful protester in Missouri." No, that's spinning it down. He was suspended indefinitely for saying, "I will kill you, I will shoot you, I will kill you, I will kill you," with a bunch of effings thrown in. So that is the right thing. If the department wouldn't have done that, boy, we know they're bad. With zero provocation, some crazy guy running up with his gun, sticking it in people's chest. I mean, that is crazy town. Let's go to Joe Biggs. Joe, what have you been witnessing? I know thunderstorms came through, so that cleared people out the same night that the Attorney General was there. So this Merck group just says everything's wonderful there. I guess you haven't seen people throwing rocks or Molotov cocktails. Nobody, the cops haven't been shot at. I mean, I'm not even mad at this Merck group. I just don't like them operating inside the country. The issue is, though, what kind of propaganda is that when they were there for 1 day, you know, to tell people nothing's going on?
Joe Biggs, St. Louis here. We're right outside of Ferguson right now. And like you said, we've been here 2 weeks. I also want to give credit to the man that was directly, the threat was pointed to. You know, I had the gun pointed at me as well, but the man that it actually had to happen to was at Revolutionary_Z. The police out here have been completely and totally out of control. And what happened yesterday was the video went viral. We got footage, our own footage, put it on our website. There's quite a few footage. People saw what happened, and this man has now been removed. That's one bad cop off the road. That's one cop that I don't have to worry about shooting me because he's trigger happy. The guy was deranged and out of his mind. That was the first time since I've been here I felt like I was actually had a good chance of dying. You know you're doing something good when I've got people who are in the surrounding areas texting me and saying, hey, they've heard on local radio shows, people are making threats towards myself and the InfoWars as well because we're actually reporting on what's really happening. You know you're doing something right when people are at that point where they get so furious they're willing to make threats.
What do you know about this mercenary group, asymmetrical warfare group that was there protecting the Attorney General, Asymmetric Solutions?
Well, I know quite a bit about asymmetric warfare groups. I'm sure everyone remembers the video that David and I have being arrested by those guys. They're a bunch of ex-Special Forces, Green Beret, Navy SEAL types. You know, the fact that they're coming down here for that, it's funny how the mainstream media spins things to where it isn't what it is, but then he has this Special Forces group come in to protect them. It's mind-blowing the links they'll go to say one thing but then do another.
Why do you think they threw in the statement there that the media is overhyping the protest?
I don't see that at all. You know, from what I've seen, you know, there's a lot of people who don't have a lot of money. They come out here, they're trying to film and catch little things like what happened with that cop. You know, there's people out here with just cell phones filming. You know, I haven't seen one journalist, anybody antagonize, provoke any kind of riot or anything since I've been here.
Exactly. That's the psyop with the police and these mercenaries and the military is attack the press, demonize the First Amendment.
What they do is they infiltrate. They had a guy that night get led into the press area. He throws a bottle from behind the press area over our head.
Joe Biggs, I'll get an update from you towards the end of the next hour. I know you're planning to stay there a few more days. I know the thunderstorms came through and de-escalated things. The Attorney General showing up and telling people he cared, de-escalated things, while meanwhile he's behind the militarization of the police and the brainwashing to a great extent. He then poses as the savior. But I guess stay a few more days and hopefully this will de-escalate. We had another gentleman shot a few days ago there as well. What is your gut level assessment of what's coming tonight and the next night?
Yeah, honestly, the only reason I think it was as calm as it was last night, and thank God for that storm. I needed a break. I know that the city, the community of Ferguson needed that break as well. The citizens who have to try to get in and out of work, to take care of things, to go to the grocery store, have been so unable to do that because of this police state, the martial law that's been, you know, inflicted upon them. It was a night of rest that needed to happen, and there were a lot of awake people out there. It was a beautiful thing to see that finally.
That's right. You've got interviews that are up on Infowars.com.
That are very good.
Where a lot of the folks out there talking about the Constitution, the Second Amendment, the New World Order. Sounds like you met some Info Warriors last night.
Yes, sir, we did. It was a good night overall. The people there, like you said, they were very awake, very knowledgeable. And I was just in awe of one of the ladies in our videos we put up on YouTube. Just to listen to her speak, I probably sat there for 15, 20 minutes. And what she had to say was just great, mind-blowing. It's what I like to hear.
I'm Darren McBreen, and these are some of the new items that are available now at InfoWarsShop.com.
Alert the public to Obama's blatant abuse of power with the new Obama t-shirt. Obama's Joker face on the front and come and take it on the back. It's time to publicly call him out for what he is, a tyrant. Defend the Second Amendment with our top seller Come and Take It t-shirts. And look at that, women's cut tank tops and t-shirts now available. Nice hat. Plus the Don't Tread on Me flag. And now you can become a micro distributor of the InfoWars magazine. Plus, get your own copy delivered right to your door each and every month. And if you're tired like I am of you and your family being exposed to polluted drinking water, get the Pro One high performance water filter. It gets rid of all pathogenic bacteria, cyst, fluoride, heavy metals, and numerous other contaminants.
So join the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.
Look at these headlines. This is from DrudgeReport.com. ISIS renamed Al-Qaeda. So Al-Qaeda gets renamed ISIS, then IS, then Al-Qaeda again. We're going to go over that report. Financial Times of London. Americans brace for new wave of terror. We told you that was coming. Got to give up all our rights now because the government runs Al-Qaeda. ISIS has 12,000 foreign fighters. Hundreds of them are Americans. More British Muslims fight for Islamic State than for Britain. What a mess. Putin's targeting dirty McDonald's. Get ready for a boycott of that. I boycott McDonald's and all their... Well, they buy literally rotten chicken from China. I mean, just what... Are you suicidal, folks? John the Executioner, military conducted unsuccessful rescue mission. It's such PR where they blew up a Toyota truck today or they blow up some old armor to make it look like they're fighting Al-Qaeda while Al-Qaeda just runs around murdering whoever they want. Al-Qaeda is commanded by the same criminals that run our government, just so you know. We're going to talk about that today in the third hour. Meanwhile, while all of this is happening, Obama has taken more vacation time than even Bush, who I criticize big time for that, and is just plays golf every day. He's not a president. And it's the arrogance, just thumbing their nose at everybody. Meanwhile, if you're Al-Qaeda, you can walk across the border, you can be given heat-seeking missiles by the U.S. government. But if you're a student in art class that draws a cartoon of Army soldiers fighting a T-Rex, I mean, I must have drawn that 100, 200 times when I was a kid. Who didn't draw pictures of Godzilla? I mean, I think every boy... Let me ask the men in there. Guys, did you all draw pictures of Godzilla being attacked by airplanes when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably what my mother...
Guns.
I mean, I've dug through my mom's stuff when she pulls out the old pictures and stuff and a lot of my drawings she saved.
Coming out of the guns.
Yeah, well, but I mean, isn't it usually like a big monster being attacked by the Army?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what me and my buddies all drew.
Us. Yeah, the Army's protecting us.
The Army's protecting us, not attacking us. So. But we're taking our guns. Now it's a giant Army soldier comes out of the sea with a big Obama symbol on his head, big Cyclops Obama soldier coming after our guns. But you get suspended or arrested. That's in the news today. Teen says he was suspended and detained for joking about killing a pet dinosaur. Yeah, and then I saw another story. You guys pulled up a whole nother one. Imagining shooting a dinosaur. So now it's, watching the ISIS beheading or the IS beheading is an act of terror in England. But the government literally funding and running them and arresting, you have any free speech you want in England, but or the UK, you do not criticize Muslims. You will be arrested. You will be banned. You will be thrown out of the country. Everybody knows I'm not a, quote, Islamophobe. I don't spend all my time freaking out over, Islam and all the rest of it. And I've been pointing out that criminal elements have been working with it for a long time to overthrow the West. And that these people attack moderate Muslims, who are the majority, in my experience. But when ISIS and all these groups are turned loose to kill Christians en masse and say they're coming to America to chop my head off, I got to be honest, at an instinctive level, when a guy's pointing a knife at me and saying, I'm coming to kill you Americans, I mean, I just really want to get put in a ring. This guy can have a knife and I can have a knife. I mean, as a man, I want to kill members of Al-Qaeda. I mean, they kill children, women, they cut little kids' heads off. But remember, that's the manipulation. The globalists are funding them so we get mad at them, so then they use our anger to set up a police state that's aimed at gun owners. You see how the PSYOP works?
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
Well, ISIS has come out, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the Financial Times of London. And they're basically saying they're Al-Qaeda. And Al-Qaeda has been commending them all around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, ISIS was founded out of Al-Qaeda in Iraq. That is on the Defense Department's own website, the British Ministry of Defense. It's in the newspapers. We've been following this for 4 years. This is the group taking over part of eastern Iraq, western Syria. They are the first group to attack Assad 4 years ago. They are 60+% of the main battle force. They have been attacking the non-radical Muslims, if you can call them that are more secular and want to overthrow Assad because he's a dictator. And then Kerry says, well, we've got to then go back those groups against ISIS because they've taken over part of Syria and Iraq. When our government put them in training bases, the Israeli government's been protecting them and working with them. That's in Israeli news. They're on their border with areas with Syria where Al-Qaeda is operating. They've been giving Israeli ambulances to the Al-Qaeda forces and taking them to hospitals. And notice, ISIS and IS and all of them have said, we're not going to attack Israel. Remember that? They're going to attack Jordan, who actually let them train there. They're going to attack Egypt. They're going to attack African countries. They're going to destabilize everywhere. And then they pull back. And then the West has an excuse, just like in Ivory Coast last year, the president went public of that country and said, the Al-Qaeda forces come in and attack the oil refinery, then white men, Western blonde-haired men, commandos show up have a fake fight with them and take over the oil rigs and then say they're protecting them and then start basically diverting the oil to tankers. Al-Qaeda works like two peas in a pod with the West. It was created in 1979 by Zbigniew Brzezinski, who is Obama's main advisor right now. It doesn't mean they're not real. Doesn't mean they wouldn't kill our troops and didn't. That's how this full spectrum dominance is. You turn these groups loose everywhere, they'll have real wars. Our troops will go and fight and die with these people. It's only their triple and double agent commanders that are higher up that are working with Western intelligence. Did they bomb their convoys to death when they came in? Did they take them out when they invaded Iraq a few months ago? No. They stood down. Now they blow up a Toyota truck or what looks like artillery, and there's never anybody standing around it. And guaranteed they're scripting it. Guaranteed the word goes that here's the grid. We want some of your equipment that doesn't work parked here. They put the trucks, they put the grids, you can see it staged, never anybody running away, never a big cache of weapons, never one of their bases. It's staged, just like in 2001. The real Al-Qaeda was flown out to safety, and then our troops had a real war with the Haqqani network and with the Taliban, who didn't like them being there. Al-Qaeda starts the wars. Then that gives the West the pretext to come in and not even put a good government in. They want to destabilize collapsed post-industrial society in the Middle East, just like the globalists want to shut down our farms, our ranches, our factories, our power plants. They tell us parents aren't parents, the state is the parents. Everything is about getting you dependent on the system. Destabilization, extreme violence lies in the ISIS DNA. And then they go on to admit that the murder of American journalist James Foley was done by Al-Qaeda. Of course it's done by Al-Qaeda. The black flag with Arabic is the Al-Qaeda flag. I am so sick of it's like if an army had American flags and was running around murdering everybody and was the American army, and then people were saying, gee, I wonder if Al-Qaeda's involved. It is Al-Qaeda. It's a total brand name. IS, ISIS, all this is a total brand name to confuse us. We're getting big problems. Rand Paul and Alex Jones, all these people are exposing that we're Al-Qaeda's Air Force, we're working with them. The military is really upset, saying they won't fight for Al-Qaeda. What do? You just change the name. That'll confuse them. But every time a journalist talks to Al-Qaeda, they're not getting direct orders. They've just been turned loose and armed. They go, we are Al-Qaeda. We will blow up the White House. We will kill Americans. We will cut your heads off, your wives and children. We're coming to murder you. And they have like hearts on TV, chewing on them, just completely whacked out of their brains. I mean, you look at videos and photos of these jihadis. I've never seen soldiers that look like this or act like this. They're completely whacked out of their brains. Only thing I ever saw close to this was some of the state police and local police in Ferguson who look totally hateful of reporters. I don't know what they've told the cops to hate them so much, where they just run up and stick guns in their chest and say, I'll effing kill you. I mean, you know, it's still not 1/10 as crazy-eyed. But it's one thing to have like 50 cops and maybe 10 of them are crazy-eyed. That's bad. When you watch videos of ISIS and Al-Qaeda, there'll be hundreds of them, and they all just look like they're demon-possessed. I mean, who chops off 2-year-olds' heads and then goes, I mean, it makes me want to throw up. It's like watching Satanism or something when they're chopping people's hearts out. It makes me get really angry. So everybody's like, yeah, bomb ISIS. They're not bombing ISIS. They're only bombing them so they paint in the lines, paint by the numbers, and stay in the area they're supposed to have, dividing the country in 3 pieces.